Perfect. So like we're gonna get this baby started right now.
Okay.
So anyway, welcome to the show, everyone. My name is Hans Waisfeld. I'm a real estate agent in Miami with Keller Williams. Welcome to the show today. I'm super happy to announce that we have a dear friend of mine and team leader of my office, Keller Williams in Miami Shores, Rolando Ramirez. Rolando, thanks so much for being here with us. I know you're a super busy guy, especially right now. I'm sure you're busier than ever. So again, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Well, Hans, I got to tell you, it's my absolute pleasure. We all have things to do, and I can certainly say that this is a priority for me today, just because I know that a lot of people have questions, right, about real estate, about the market. So I'm truly grateful that you even gave me this opportunity. So thank you so much.
Awesome, man. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a lot of valuable information.
Yeah.
I mean, I always learn from you, and I know you have a lot of things to teach. You know, a lot of people who are out there. You know, probably real estate agents who are struggling with the business, and also buyers or sellers who are wondering what to do right now. You know, I know you're in the office every single day, and you're working every single day, and you're currently on top of the market, knowing what's going on. So I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Awesome. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about you, Rolando. A little for those of you that don't, for the people who don't know you, let us know a little bit of how you got started and about you, and we'll be happy.
So how I got started, it's a funny story. I actually never had plans of becoming a realtor. The way it worked out was I was going to school, majoring in political science and international affairs. I was actually on track to go to law school. And my mother was always pushing me to get different licenses. So she made me get a notary license, right? I mean, I don't know if this is a classic Hispanic mom thing, but she wanted to be certified in everything. So I got my notary license, and then I got my real estate license because she said, I want to sell my condo, and I want you to sell it so that way I don't have to pay another realtor commission. So
Interesting.
Yeah. So I got my license, and then by the time I got it, my mom changed her mind and didn't want to sell the property. There I was. Yeah. Imagine. So there I was. I had a bachelor's degree in political science. I had a real estate license and a notary public license. And I had thought I wanted to go to law school, but I wasn't really sure if that was what I wanted to do. So I kind of felt it out. Long story short, I ended up realizing that I'm good with talking to people. I'm good with sales. So I wanted to explore more about real estate. And I went to a smaller boutique brokerage, didn't really have much support there. And after being there for a year, I was about to quit real estate. At the same time, one of my dear friends, Ivan Rabinovich, and his brother, Eitan, were discussing a move to Keller Williams.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Keller Williams. I learned the fundamentals about real estate and pretty much took off from there in real estate. So I guess how I got started was my mom. Right? I never had any intentions of becoming a real estate agent, and yet it ended up working well for me. I do still have an interest in politics and in helping people. That was really my passion. And I guess what really fired me up too, and this has nothing to do with my political affiliation, I saw that Trump became president by doing nothing more than running a successful business, very successful businesses. So I said, I can either take the route of politics and be in the White House for a very long time and deal with all the backstabbing and all the stuff that happens in politics, or I can just build a big business and earn my respect and earn my way in that way. So that was another thing that set me up. But yeah, that's my story into real estate.
Man, I never knew this. I'm happy I asked that. Now I know your beginnings. And let me ask you, what were you doing before you got into real estate? You were going to school, correct? And what kind of jobs, what kind of industries were you working in?
So that's a great question, and that's another thing that allowed me to self-discover that sales and leadership was something that I liked and that I was good at. I was working 7 years in retail. I started at Crocs, the rubber holes with the shoes with the rubber holes in them.
Claro, of course.
Yeah, and then I went from there to a shoe store, and then I pretty much worked myself up to working at Bell Harbor Shops in Montclair, which was always
Mhm.
like the biggest like step for me in retail. Like I was like, I want to work in Bell Harbor Shops, so I got that opportunity.
Nice.
Yeah, and in every single one of those jobs, I was always like top salespeople. I was always getting offered positions in manager. So I started kind of self-discovering that I was pretty good at sales. So that's also another thing that drove me into wanting to explore more about real estate, because I know that in real estate, one closing can be a very big check for you. I just didn't understand how hard it was to actually get
Get that to
yeah,
get to that step.
right. Exactly. So that's my story about what I was doing before that.
Yeah,
Always,
so definitely you can say that, your background in sales, all these years in sales, has definitely played a tremendous role into your real estate career, right? As with talking to people and sales and what words to use, the tones to use, right? All these kinds of things that I'm sure you learned from the sales industry, right?
oh yeah, retail. One thing that I took away from retail that really helped me excel quickly in real estate is I understood service. And I think that that was such a valuable thing for me to learn in retail, because I understood that if I could give people a really high level of service, they were more likely to come back to me or refer me. And that's how I,
Beautiful.
of course, ended up in a place like Montclair, because I continuously strived for good service. So I was always giving really, really good service. So that was always and has always been my motto with business, is whoever I'm going to get into business with, I'm going to make sure I follow through on my word and I give them an excellent experience when they work with me. So
Love it, man. That is awesome. I'm sure that, that has played a big role in your career. I mean, I know right now you're a team leader, which is something that I want to go over right now. But I know before you were a team leader, you're a sales agent, and I'm sure that, from what I hear, from what you've told me, and a lot of your clients that I've met, that you provide top level, pretty much more than a service and experience, right? And that's what we're here for, right? Providing that amazing experience, going above and beyond, and
exactly.
that's more than just sales, right? That's just like building relationships, right?
It is. It's exactly that. And I was going to say, one thing as a realtor, when you start out, you are so hungry for business, right? You get to a certain point where you really start becoming choosy about who you want to spend time with and give service to, because your service is good. So I at that point, and I was like, I could literally decide who I want to work with right now and who I don't want to work with. And trust me, there was a few times where I fired buyers or sellers, where I just said, look, I really appreciate you even giving me the opportunity, but the fact of the matter is we're not a match. And I made that decision because I said, I know my standards for doing business. I know that this is a numbers game. I know not everyone is going to fit into those standards, and I'm not going to waste my time with people who don't fit those standards when I can use that same amount of time to go look for 2 or 3 more people who do fit that standard.
Absolutely, I agree. Wow, that's beautiful. Having the opportunity to actually do that, right, and choose who you want to work with. That's definitely a blessing, huh?
Well, what I was going to say about that, yes, it is. And I think it's also about getting crystal clear about your standard, your value proposition, what makes you special. Once you have clarity on that, it's easier to have the confidence to say, this person is a match to work with me and this person isn't. So that's something that also helped me develop that confidence, is I knew
Beautiful.
what I was bringing to the table. I knew my value proposition. Yeah.
Wow, man, that's amazing. And let me ask you this: Do you think Keller Williams and their training and everything they stand for? Do you think that's what got you to that mindset, or do you think that you had that before already?
No question. No question. I had the ability to give people really good service before I came to Keller Williams. That was something that I already had a grasp of.
Mm-hmm.
I got at Keller Williams is I learned how to master my mindset, and I humbly say that even being in the company now for a little over 3 years, I'm very far from achieving mastery. but I'm in a much higher place now mentally than I was before I got into it. So a lot of that, I learned how to be structured, how to be systematic,
There you
because
go.
I realized a lot of pretty much my entire life, I was
Mm-hmm.
reacting. I was letting things come to me, and then I would, react to them. And what I had to understand is I have to be proactive. I have to plan. I have to structure. I have to organize things so that the dominoes can fall in line and I'm less anxious because I don't have clarity. That's, a lot of realtors suffer from a lot of anxiety and stress. And
Hmm.
most of the problems with that, when I talk to them, is
Mm-hmm.
that they just don't have clarity. They don't know their system.
Wow.
They don't know their schedule. They don't know their goals. They don't know their activities. They're just working as hard as they possibly can and hope that something falls through.
It's
So,
funny, man. I feel like it's that way with not just in real estate, not just agents, but many people in their lives.
oh yeah,
Right? I speak to people, to friends, whatever, that are just, they're not doing well, or, and then I'm like, do you have a roadmap? It's like, it's that roadmap. It's like, do you know where you're going to? Because if not, it's like just getting in an airplane without a destination, right? So that's for everyone, even businesses or just human beings themselves. I believe, in my opinion, that everyone should kind of have at least a goal or a roadmap to where they're leading to, right? So totally understand where you're coming
and
from with
the
that.
other thing I was gonna say too about Keller Williams. So the main things that I got at Keller Williams was structure, systems, mindset. The other thing was scripts. I never used scripts at all before I got into Keller Williams. I always thought scripts made me sound robotic.
Yeah.
Every single belief that an agent has when they get into the business about scripts, I had it. 100%. I was there. And what I ended up understanding through my years of practicing scripts, of mastering these conversations is, when in the first days that I came in, people said, you're going to get to a point where it's automatic. And I was like, no way, that will never be me. And yet here I am 4 years later, and if someone hits me with an objection or I get into a situation where I know a conversation, I mean, it's just automatic. It comes out right away.
Hey, are you reading from a script right now, or? Let me see. Show me that paper.
I've role played this conversation 1,000 times before I came on.
That's not true, people. That's not true. This guy is speaking from the heart. I know him.
Yeah.
So, Roland, there's one thing that I wanted to ask you about. So there's a lot of companies, a lot of real estate companies that don't have team leaders, right? There's a lot of small companies, even a lot of big companies. Because like I have never, before joining Keller Williams, I have never heard of a team leader. So can you tell us a little bit about your role and what the position is about and what you do, just so the people that are gonna hear this later, they can understand a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great question, Hans. I appreciate you bringing it up. So most other companies have a broker, right? And what does that broker do? That broker basically trains you on the fundamentals, and then whenever you need questions like about contracts or what do I do here, or what do I do with this situation, or how do I fill out this contract, or all of that, that's what a broker does. And that's very, very necessary. We have a broker at our office, David Carlisle. The team leader role in Keller Williams is pretty much like a business coach. So my job is to help the agents like you understand the business, understand the models, understand the systems, and also get to learn the skills like mastering your scripts, or how to do a buyer presentation or listing appointment, right? So it's a lot more coaching. It's a lot more hands-on, and pretty much. The other thing too, right? The word leader, right?
Correct.
I set the example for every other agent about what running your business should look like. Because my job, fine, I'm not going after buyers and sellers anymore, but I'm going after agents. My job is the same as another realtor. I practice my scripts and role play. I lead generate. I lead follow up. I go on appointments and I negotiate contracts.
Oh, wow.
Literally the same exact structure for an agent I do. So it's really, really important that I set the example for everyone else about what lead generation looks like, what script practice looks like, what lead follow-up looks like, what going on appointments looks like, negotiating offers, et cetera, et cetera. Like that window that you see outside of my office, which you've seen because you're there, is so people can see what that looks like at a very high level.
Amazing, man. Yeah, I see you working. You set an example, and that's totally right, man. Like I go in the office, and I know you're the first one there, and I leave the office, and you're still there. You know, that's not every day, but I know most of the time it's like that, and that's amazing, man. And I always see you, working really really hard, and I totally respect you for that. You know, definitely setting an example for the 300 agents that are in our office, and hopefully everyone else that that comes across you. I'm sure friends and family. I'm sure as well.
Yeah, and the thing is, that's always been me. I mean, if you never really got to see me as an agent, but that was always me. I mean, if I wasn't on an appointment, if I wasn't negotiating a contract, I was on the phone. I was lead generating or lead follow up, and that was it. And any time that someone would take time away from that, or something would take time away from that, I would honestly be upset. Like, it would irk me that I would be stepping out of my 20%. Like, that's how laser focused I was as an agent, and bringing that into the team leader role is what I believe is helping other agents understand the priority of the 80-20 principle about knowing what activities you really need to focus on to move your business forward.
Can you give a little example about the 80-20 rule? For the people that have never heard of it before, it's mind blowing. Yeah. It's life changing.
Absolutely, the 80-20 principle changed my life, and I hope that this changes someone else's. But the 80-20 principle is basically a principle that states that there's a 20% that will lead to an 80%. So the way that it started, for example, is this guy Pareto from Italy. He noticed that 20% of his crops yielded 80% of his harvest. So he was like, okay, wow, that's weird. I would imagine that, that it's a direct correlation, but that's interesting. He did a little more research. He found out 20% of Italians own 80% of the wealth in Italy. So he started going really deep on this 80-20 principle.
Wow.
So what we realize when we translate that into the real estate, or even any business, if you're in sales at all, is that there is a bunch of activities that you have to do on a day-to-day basis. Like, as a realtor, you have to, fill out contracts, upload listings, create flyers, prepare your lists, all this stuff, right? However, there is a 20%, a smaller fraction of those activities that lead to the biggest results. So what I mean by that is, for example, as an agent, your top 20% of activities are these 5 things: script practice, role play, and continuing education, lead generation, lead follow-up, go on appointments, and negotiating contracts. Those are your 20% activities. So the more time that you're able to spend on that, the more money you're going to make. If you have read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, or if you've looked into it, what you will see is that the whole idea of you building a team and creating leverage around your business is so that you can get more and more of your time to focus on
do the 20%. I agree. Love it. Love it, man.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And that could translate to any business at all, right? Any business person,
Any
20% brings 80% of the result, and it's
exactly. If you could just find out what are the activities that your business needs you to do to really move the needle forward, then now you've got clarity, and now you've got to think about where you can fit that on your schedule, which, by the way, your 20% is usually the hardest things that you need to do. So I always recommend you to do it in the morning, because you'll have more. And of course, anything else you can hold it off for the afternoon. So yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought there. But
I was thinking of that book. There's a book, Eat That Frog. You heard of it?
Yes, 100%.
So Eat That Frog talks about doing that 20%. The first thing in the morning, doing the hardest thing first thing in the morning, because you have all the energy and just kind of get it out of the way, the hardest thing. Exactly. So then you can, the rest of your day could go smoother, and you already did, 20%, which brings 80% of results. So
and I'll be very transparent here for everyone, because sometimes agents see me and they think that it's easy or that I really enjoy it. Like, I'm not a huge fan of getting on the phone and cold calling. I'm not a fan of it, but I know I have to do it, and I've already created the habit. So either whether I want to do it or not, my mind automatically is wired to go into the office and hit the phone. Like that's just automatic, right? So it's not really something that you're gonna like. I mean, trust me, there's agents that are in business for 20, 30 years that hate getting on the phone. It's their most hated part of their day, but they know that they need to do it, and they do it automatically.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's definitely not something that's easy, but definitely if you at least are conscious about it, right, and you can work towards it daily, then definitely you can start creating that routine, so it becomes easier and easier. And no, 100%, 100%. Every day I'm working on it every day, and I see every single day, I get better and better at working, that 20% and just focusing on that. So
And it's time on task over time. I want people to think about that. Time on the task over time. So the more time that you put into those really important tasks,
love it.
time, the sooner that you can get to those big goals that you want to achieve in your life. So,
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that, man. Just take action and do it, right, man? Like a lot of people are like they have excuses, or a lot of people are like, no, but I don't have this yet, or I don't have that yet. And what I've been definitely implementing in my life is like, you know what? Just do it. Just go at it. At least put in that, do the 20%, and little by little, you'll get better at it. But at least you start doing it, and kind of like with these interviews, that I started doing. It's like instead of like thinking about these different things, I'm like, you know what? They just do it. It's gonna bring value. I'll get better at it with time, but at least you're putting in the work, and like you said, with doing the task, will definitely, you'll definitely see the results with time. It's like anything else, right? So
yeah. Go ahead.
sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say it reminds me of the story that I remember from the book The Millionaire Real Estate Agent about a science research study where they broke people up into two groups, and they told one group, you're gonna be graded on how many pots you can make, and then the other group is gonna be graded on how perfect they can make a pot. And what they ended up finding out was the group that ended up that was graded on making the most pots actually ended up making a better pot, because again, time on task over time.
I've read that part. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Because of course, like over time, they were able to, for making so many pots, they were able to figure it out how to make it better,
You
better,
learn
and better.
You succeed through failure. You don't succeed your way to success. You fail your way to success. So
I love that, man. So Rolando, I mean, again, I know you're busy every single day. You're studying the market every day, and I know you speak to a lot of agents from all over, Miami and in the country. I mean, you're a team leader for Keller Williams, one of the biggest offices probably in the country. So what are you seeing right now in the market? Locally and also nationwide. What are you seeing? What is your prediction? That's going to happen in the next 6 months. We want to know this coming from you.
yeah, so it's a great question. The Miami market, from what I'm seeing, has been relatively, and I say relatively versus all the other markets out there, stable.
Okay.
Now, why do I say that? Because a lot of people are moving to Florida from other states with everything that's going on. One of the biggest group of people is the New Yorkers, right? A lot of people from New York, even before the pandemic, were moving down here, and now with the pandemic, I mean, a lot of people are realizing we live way too close to each other. I mean, society is going to change. I mean, that's my prediction too. Society is going to change. We really are going to, I think, start behaving differently when things open back up. About personal space, washing your hands, be careful about who you touch. It's not just going to go back to the way it was. So what I'm saying is people, after all of this, might be looking for a different lifestyle. And in a place like New York, where people are so squeezed together, after all of this, they're probably going to be like, I need to look somewhere else to live. And a lot of them are looking at Florida. So that. Now, in terms of the economics of it,
wow.
The way I see it, because a lot of people have asked me, what do I think is going to happen to the market? Is this going to be like 2008? So first things first, it's not going to be like 2008. I just, the chances of that happening just don't make sense, because the failure here is not necessarily an economic systemic failure. Like, it's nothing that the economy did that was wrong. It was simply that world got put on pause because there was a pandemic that is not allowing us to interact and not allowing us to really do much business,
Right.
Physically. Whereas in 2008, the reason why the economy fell is because there was a systemic failure in the banking system. So that prices pretty much got inflated because of that failure. So prices got inflated. When that got found out, they drastically dropped back to where they should have been based on, people's affordability. What we're seeing here is not the same case. The economic system is working. Now, what I do see is prices could be dropping and most likely will be dropping. However, I don't see them, and this is my personal prediction, I don't see them dropping more than about 10%. 10 to 20%, I would say the max. Because again, it's not because of a failure in the economy. It's just a pandemic that happened that pretty much put the world on pause. So,
absolutely.
Whether it's a good time for buyers to buy, whether it's a good time for sellers to sell, there's benefits on both sides, right?
Absolutely. Okay.
Right? If you're a buyer, what I would say is the benefit to you right now about buying is, especially if you're in a competitive market, like the single family 350K and below market here in Miami, there's a lot less competition because all other buyers are thinking the same. Oh, I'm going to wait till all of this is over.
I agree.
What's going to happen then when all of this is over? There's going to be a ton of buyers on the market, more competition, right? So there's going to be more competition when things get back to normal. Number two, right now, the only sellers that are still on the market are the sellers who are serious about selling. I mean, come on. If you're not serious about selling, you're not going to let people in your house. You're not going to put your property on the market. You're not going to try and sell it. So those are two things. The other thing is interest rates. I mean, they're super low right now. They're at all-time lows. So I want to stress that to people. If you can buy right now, buy. Now, the other thing, too, that you got to consider as a buyer, because a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to buy right now, and, in 6 months, it's going to be down 10%. Well, here's what you really need to ask yourself. Are you planning on selling that property in 6 months, or are you planning on selling that property in 5 to 10 years?
Correct.
Because if you're planning on selling it in 5 to 10 years, how much it's going to be worth in 6 months shouldn't matter to you.
Absolutely.
If you do the math and think about it, right? Let's say, just hypothetically, and they might not, but let's say hypothetically prices do drop 10% this year. Well, the average annual appreciation rate is about 5%. So you're going to get back what you paid for it in about 2 years after you buy it. And if you're planning on 5 years, you're still going to make a profit. And here's the other thing, too. You have to get clarity on why you're buying it. I mean, are you buying it because you're trying to make a profit margin by the time you sell it? Or are you buying it because this is going to be your home for your family, for you guys to live out? And those are the questions you have to consider as a buyer. As a seller, the advantage to you right now is, like I'm saying, if you need to sell within the next 2 years, now is the time. Because again, prices are going to go down, the market's going to get lower, right? For your property to be worth what it is today, again, might take another 2 to 3 years. So if you're a seller that's about selling, you need to sell now if you want to get the most amount of money for your property.
I agree, 100%.
If you can wait 2 to 3 years, fine. Best of luck to you. That's totally okay. However, if you want to get the most amount of money for your property now is the time. Now is the time.
I totally agree with that. I study the market as well every single day. I'm looking at what experts are saying. I'm reading reports. I'm reading all kinds of articles, from top experts in the country. And definitely, I can 100% agree with you. If you're a buyer, I was doing a comparison with the interest rates. I'm gonna making a video about it. So if you buy a property right now at, let's say, $300,000 at a 3% interest, which is like super, super low, and then let's say prices do drop. Right? Let's say it goes down to $250,000, right? And then interest rates are also going to start coming back up, right? The only reason the rates are low right now is because what's going on, right? So interest rates start going back up. So if that house is now worth $250,000, but interest rates are at 5%, you still come out winning buying right now at $300,000 with a 3% interest. Your monthly payments will be lower, number one, and in the long run of the loan, in the 30-year loan, you're going to be paying less money. So like you said, interest rates are so low that, it's very good to take advantage. There's less competition. And in that market, that price range, 400,000 or below in Miami, single family homes, there's so much competition there that many times when, my clients see a house that they really, really like, the next day it's gone. So right now, since there's not so much people looking because they're all waiting, like you say, there's probably a lot more chance and opportunity for those buyers to really end up with that house of their dreams without having so much competition and so much, kind of like a bidding war on the property.
Exactly.
Right.
And exactly, it's what you're saying too. And this is what I tell my friends who are thinking about it as well. Like, if you're doing an FHA 3.5% down or conventional, if most of your purchase is financed, you've got a lot more to worry about with the interest rate than you do about the actual purchase price. Because again,
Absolutely.
it's your thing. I mean, even if prices drop 50,000, but interest rates go up, you're paying the same thing. And listen, the likelihood of interest rates going up versus prices going down drastically is higher. There's more likelihood that interest rates are going to go up before prices go down drastically. So just think about that financing most of your purchase. Yeah.
Absolutely, I totally agree. It's super valuable information. I hope people are actually paying attention, right? Because it could cost you a lot of money, right? It costs the seller for thinking that that he's gonna wait or they're gonna wait and taking a year or two to sell. They're gonna they could end up losing money, and a buyer thinking that hey, prices could drop, but then interest rates go up. They end up losing money. So definitely, I think right now it's a good opportunity, and also you can end up with a better opportunity because there's a lot of owners or sellers that are desperate that probably did lose their job. So you could probably end up even winning double, really good interest rate and a really good price in a home. Like you said, if you're gonna hold on to it for at least 5 years, you got an amazing deal and see your own house, and there's a lot of positive things about it, man. So I'm trying to help as much people as possible and trying to talk to as much people as I can per day, helping them. We're here pretty much to give them the information, then they can decide, right? We're not here to decide for them.
And I wanted to make that point too with agents who are listening to what I'm saying, because I'm sure a lot of agents right now heard that and they're like, oh man, I'm gonna really get my database now. And look, right? All we can do is provide people the information. It's up to them to make the decision. So don't be a seller and teller. Be a consultant. Give them the information and allow them to have the freedom to make the decision, because nobody wants to feel pressured.
I love that, man. I love that. Absolutely. And so, Rolando, tell us, for the agents that are starting out right now in the market, the way, the economy is with the pandemic, we're about to have a bowl, which is, for those of you that don't know, bowl is a very intense, it's about a month or a little bit more. Is a course that we have at Keller Williams, like a training, like a very intense training. It's amazing training. So we're gonna be having one online, right, digital, virtual. So there's over 1,000 agents that are gonna be joining, right, from all over the country. And I see there's a lot of brand new agents that are coming to the market. They're starting in real estate right now, and I've been speaking to many of them. So what do you give these thousands of agents that are just starting their career right now, the way things are?
Yeah, so great question. And one thing I did want to point out is as of right now, nationwide, we've got 18,000 people signed up to May's Bold Pivot. So it's a huge number.
18,000. Wow.
Yeah. It is. I mean, it's just that good. It's just that good. I mean, first of all, it's a steal. It's $99. It's a 4-week coaching program, 4 days a week. You're with 8 of the top coaches within the company. Coaching on your skills, coaching you on your mindset, giving you the tactics. So, in terms of what advice I would give, number one, if you have $99 to invest in yourself, that program, without a doubt, is one of the best things that you can do for yourself and for your business. But what other advice would I give agents right now? First and foremost, you got to talk to your people. Understand that this is a relationship-based business. So you should definitely start with the people who already know you, love you, and trust you. And Hans, you've heard this. Even before the shift, this is what we always tell.
Absolutely. Right.
The other thing that I would say to new agents and to even experienced ones is your finances. Make sure you know your budgets. Make sure you're tracking your expenses. make sure that you have enough reserves, right? As a new agent right now, for me being completely honest with everyone, I mean, we're talking to new agents about coming to Keller Williams. We are pretty much pushing them to have 6 months of reserves for these next 6 months because we don't really know how hard this is going to get.
Absolutely.
And we know that the things that you do today will show up in 90 days or more. So
correct.
When agents come in, you know, a lot of them are skittish about even making the calls at first. They want to learn a little bit. They want to get, you know, some understanding of business before they start making the calls and prospecting and reaching out to the people. And I get all that. Why I'm saying the sooner the better, because if you try and wait, I'll put it to you like this one. If you got like this, you got 6 months of reserve.
Okay.
And you spend the first 3 months studying and making no calls, and then the next 3 months you're making the calls, you might not make it. Because the results you're going to get are going to show up at the end of those 3 months of making the calls or later. So if you've got 6 months reserve, you're in a tough spot. So what I would say to agents is be conscious of the 90-day rule. Whatever you're doing now will show up in 90 days. So if you're going to get into real estate now, your butt has to get to talking to people about real estate and letting them know that you're in real estate ASAP. So that's one thing. The other thing too is track your numbers, right? I tell this to agents all the time, and sometimes it takes them being in the business like 6 months or a year or 2 years before it finally sticks. But track your numbers. Track how many conversations you're having a week. Track how many appointments you're setting. Track how many buyer appointments you're having, seller appointments, how many agreements you're getting, how many contracts you're taking, how many units you're closing. Because that is going to give you clarity on your conversion, and that's going to give you clarity on activities you need to do on a daily basis to produce your results. So,
beautiful.
3 things. Number 1, start calling your people, start calling your database. Number 2, your expenses, your finances. Make sure you know your budget. Make sure you're cutting out unnecessary expenses. Make sure you're holding your expenses accountable. And number 3, I forgot what was the third one.
The number three is keeping track record of everything that you do.
Yes, keeping track, exactly.
Love it.
Track your numbers, and also your schedule. Following your schedule. Yeah.
I love it, man. So for new agents, so you're saying that, you know, it's always a good time to start real estate. I mean, it's an amazing career. It's, you know, everyone that I know, I leave in real estate, you know, they love it and they're super happy. So it's always a good time to start. Right now with the situation going on, I mean, many people are at home, so I feel like a lot of people have the time to talk. There's a lot of people who are not busy, so you can call, like you said, all the people that you know, the people that you haven't spoken to in a very long time, and just let everyone know that you're in the business. Track your records, track how much people you talk to see how much appointments you can do, and then to see how much closings you can do. So later on, you can know your numbers. Hey, I got to talk to this much people to get this appointment, this much appointments to get a closing or transaction going on. I love that. And then
if I can make this really simple for people, because some people look at it like a huge mountain. So one advice I give to some new agents is, look, why don't you do this? Why don't you talk to 10 people every day, just 10 people every day, have a conversation. And if they're not fans of scripts, which most of them aren't, I'll say, you don't even have to have a script. Just mention the word real estate. Somewhere in that conversation, just say the word real estate. And if you just do that, you'll get some sort of results. The idea, of course, would be for you to understand your scripts, learn your objection handlers, and all of that. But for the people who are timid about getting on the phones, that's just a very simple rule of thumb. Say the words real estate to 10 people over the phone.
That should do it. I mean, that should be it.
I would recommend 20. I would even recommend 40 conversations. The more that you can do, the better. But I'm just really trying to keep it manageable for people, because starting out in business, you look at that and you're like, oh man, that's hard, right? And it's honestly not that hard once you, again, put time on task over time and understand your systems.
10 people a day. Beautiful. Those are great tips. I hope a lot of agents, especially new agents, get a lot of value from that. They start just putting in the work, right? 10 people per day. Keep your track your numbers and let everyone know that you're in real estate, especially the people around you, right? Those are,
Yeah. One more thing I would
Yes,
add
sir.
is mindset.
Tell me, Rolando, what is it?
Mindset.
Mindset.
You gotta practice. You gotta have some sort of routine to help you with your mindset. I'll share with everyone what helped me have the biggest breakthroughs in my career was
Please
actually
do.
not any of this stuff. What helped me have the biggest breakthrough in my career was developing the habit of meditating every morning before I went to work. That
Beautiful.
helped me have the tranquility, the stillness to be able to really take a step back from things, learn them, not get attached to the outcome, which, we all do. But meditation helps you to just let some things go and be present to your current circumstance and just live it. Because I think too often, even people who have been experienced in the business, but especially new agents, we try to create a story in our head about the future. And when things don't go great or when the economy is bad, we start painting a negative picture and we get attached to that. Or we get a contract and we are already counting the money from that check before it even closes. And then when it doesn't close, we're destroyed. So meditation helps you with that. It helps you be more present and still to the moment by moment of your life.
I love that, man. That's an amazing tip, and not just for business or for real estate agents, just for everyone in general, right, man? 10 minutes in the morning when you wake up. I try to do it as often as I can. Definitely meditation is probably a whole nother subject because it's definitely not an easy thing to do. It's very challenging, but at least if you get just 10 minutes before you start your day. I mean, we all have crazy days, right? Especially us in our business. There's so many things as a real estate agent that you have to do every day. Talking to 10 people per day, it's just one of the many, many things we do, right? So all day, you're super busy with your mind just going crazy. So definitely taking 10 minutes in the morning is definitely something, amazing. It's going to help out through the rest of the day. Rolando, so it's time for fun questions before we end the show. Ready?
It's been too serious, so
it's been too serious, man. Let's get this. So Rolando, I'm gonna learn about you with these questions. So tell us, would you rather be the best player on the worst team or the worst player on the best team?
No question, the worst player on the best team. No question.
Why?
For me, it's kind of like that saying, if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So I would rather be the worst player on the best team because there's room for growth, right? It's that thing about planting a seed into a pot, and the plant will only grow as big as the pot allows it to. So if you're the best player if you're the best player on the worst team, there's no growth for you. Like, you are the pot, you are the ceiling for that group. There's nothing for you to learn. There's nothing for you to grow. If you're the worst player on the best team, you have literally everything to learn and all the things to grow from. So no question, I would rather be the worst player on the best team. Plus, I'm competitive. So if I feel like there's no competition, and if I feel like there's no one I can really go toe to toe with, it's not exciting. Yeah.
Love it. Beautiful answer, man. Love it. So tell us, what is the worst purchase and best purchase you've ever done in your life?
Oh,
you might have to think about it for a minute.
That's really funny.
It doesn't have to be real estate related. It could be anything in general.
A couple things come to mind for worst purchases. One of my worst purchases was a Mazda 3 that I bought brand new out of the lot, cash. I think I paid like $16,000 for it, and I totaled it within a year. So it wasn't necessarily a bad buy in itself. It was just the fact that I crashed the car after I just spent $16,000.
It was just bad driving, man. It was bad driving. Don't blame me on the car.
It killed me. Another one.
Miami driving.
Yeah, another one that I thought was really bad recently. I recently went on the Facebook Marketplace and I bought a bed frame. I think I spent like $200 on it, and I literally freaking broke it in like a month. Like, it was used. I could have never bought a used bed frame. So That was really
let's not get into breaking out bed frames.
We don't have to worry about how we broke it, but I broke it and it's a waste of $200. Miroslava,
Best purchase.
She said her
sewing machine. Let's
sewing machine. Yo,
tell us about that.
She made me buy a sewing machine, and she's watching this. She made me buy a sewing machine like a year.
To what? To do face mask? To get ready for
to literally never use it. Like I don't even want to talk about how much money I spent on a sewing machine. Just let it sit there. The best purchase that I've made, man. Whew. There was one recently that I made that was so good that I'm still excited about. Over the weekend, one of my friends was City Furniture, and he was showing us some of the things that he had on sale for floor models. Yo, I got $1,000 glass table for $100, brand new. Like, I'm sorry, I just gotta flex real quick for Instagram to see this. Like, yo, check out this fucking glass table, man. I'm sorry for cursing on your live, but just check out this glass table, dude. Brand new
$100
glass table with 4 leather chairs for $100. Like,
come on, man. You bought it stolen. You bought it stolen. Where'd you get that from?
Dude, that was probably one of the best buys that I've made in a while.
Beautiful, man. That's gonna last 2 years. That's definitely gonna last years, man. So that's awesome.
So I'm hyped about this table, man. So yeah, that's
awesome, man. So tell us, what is the best place you've ever been to?
The best place I've ever been to, honestly, man, California. California was awesome.
Wow.
I went to Yosemite.
What part of California?
Yosemite Park was amazing. I truly loved Yosemite Park. San Francisco was also amazing. I mean, I went on a week-long trip with a couple of my friends. Actually, my boy Wacko, he's in the comments right now. And he was part of that trip. But it was a week-long trip, man. I got to say that was one of the best trips of my life, if not the best trip ever. Yeah.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, that was one of the best. And I mean, just the nature in Yosemite was beautiful. We actually went during Copa America when Chile won the cup in 2015. So it was awesome, man. I'm from Chile, for anyone who doesn't know, so it was huge for me to be there.
Beautiful, man. San Francisco, I love California. I've been there once, and beautiful place, man. I want to check it out more. I've never been to the north, San Francisco, so definitely look forward to checking that out. So tell us, when you're a showing agent, a buyer's agent, a salesperson, I know you were doing tons of transactions, you did tons of deals. I'm sure you've seen tons and tons of properties. What is the what is the weirdest thing you've seen in a showing? Anything weird? Anything that's you gotta tell us?
I saw a dead rat one time in an abandoned house. Oh, I got a good one. Yeah. Okay. So, I went one time to it was a house that was being built. It was a new construction house, and the guy who was building it, I guess he started building the structure and the roof, but he never finished the project. He just left it because I guess he might have run out of money or whatever. So, right. So I go to see the property, and I'm thinking it's vacant. It's a house. I mean, it's a structure, right? And I'm going and I'm walking into the property, and the guy's like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And I look, and I'm like, "What?" There was a homeless guy living in the skeleton of the house, and he was mad at me because I was in his property, and I was like, "Oh, this is your house," you know. But that was really funny. Man, honestly, there was a couple times I'll share with you that I had to evict people from a house. That was really funny stories, man. A couple times. It's not funny that it happened to them. It's just funny how it happened. That I had to pretend I was serving them an eviction so that they could think that they had to get out of the property. That was really funny and awkward. Just that whole exchange that I had to play that part. That was really funny. You kind of had to be there for that one. And then also door knocking. Door knocking. I've seen some really funny stuff, man. Just people acting really weird. People just.
Dude, I went door knocking in Miami Shores or Biscayne Park. I remember when I used to door knock. I forgot. It was a year ago. this one lady got so scared. I do not know why. Like, how can you get scared of this thing here? You know, I'm not a huge dude or nothing. And I had my Keller Williams tag and everything. She was so scared. She followed me around the whole neighborhood. She called like the security for like the neighborhood. They followed me. They stopped me. Nuts. She was like so scared. She was inside her house like, get out of here! Like, screaming and just.
I got another one. I was door knocking one time, and I went into a crack house, like a full blown crack house. Like I went in, the people were like all doped up. You could smell the. It was just like wild. Like I felt so nervous being in there. Like I thought someone was gonna come out from behind me and just like grab me by the neck or something. It was nuts. So. I mean, just for everyone to know, I worked a lot in the inner city neighborhoods, like Liberty City, Miami Gardens, Opelika, Brownsville, all of that. So I got to see my fair share of stuff. So it was interesting, man. Yeah, it was definitely really interesting.
Awesome, man. So tell us, if you could be a spokesperson for any brand, what brand would you choose?
Oh man, Keller Williams. No, I'm kidding.
I know it. Yeah. Yes or no? Yes or no? Come on.
I'm already a spokesperson.
I'm already a spokesperson. There you go.
Let me think. If I could do it for any brand. I'd probably say Polo, man. Polo all day. I really like Polo. Jordan would also be one, but Michael Jordan's he's got some things that I probably am not too big of a fan of. But the brand, I mean, I was a huge sneakerhead growing up, so Jordan would probably be another spokesperson that I'd want to do.
All right. You're a sneakerhead.
Yeah.
There you go. You're back. Sneakerhead. All right, Rolando. I didn't know that about you. And last question to finish this off, my friend. Very, very important question. What would you, if you had superpowers, right? What would you rather choose? To be able to speak to all animals or to able to speak all languages?
Languages or animals? I'd probably say languages.
Okay, why?
Like Miroslava said, so I can recruit more agents. Yeah. No, man. Honestly, I don't think animals have much of a thought process. Like they don't. I mean, I just don't think they think like as creatively as humans. So like, I guess the only ones that I'd even want to know what they're thinking is like maybe dolphins or monkeys. So I'm just like, I would rather know the language because I would want to know who's talking smack about me. Like, have you ever been somewhere and like you see people talking a different language and you think they're talking about you, but you don't know what they're saying? Like, yeah. So it's like I always want to know what the heck they're saying. Yeah. So I would say languages, man, for sure.
Awesome, man. Great answers. Rolando, thank you so much for being here, for giving sharing us all the valuable information. I'm sure a lot of agents got a lot from it, and really appreciate your time. I know you're super busy, and it's been amazing, man. You dropped a lot of bombs in there. I got a lot of things from you today. So again, thank you so much.
It's my pleasure, man. I mean, honestly, one thing I didn't really get to share today is how passionate I am about helping agents succeed. I walked that path. I was a new agent too, just like everyone else. And listen, I'm only 4 years into real estate. I've got a long way to go. But for me, nothing fills my heart and soul more than seeing people that I have given things to, taught lessons to, and see them have the breakthroughs. Like, wow. So I tell you all the time, Hans, I mean, nothing would fill me up more other than seeing you in a few years, like, being a top agent. Like, everyone in the office. I want everyone that's on my team to win. And everyone that's outside of my team to win. But it's my mission for the people that are on my team to win. So yeah, I'm truly grateful for it.
Love it, man. I appreciate it once again. Thank you so much, Rolando. It was amazing having you. It was an honor. And we'll have another one of these in the near future.
If you need a part 2, man, let me know. I'm happy to help.
We're definitely going to do a part 2. Once things start getting back to normal, we'll see where the economy is. We'll see where real estate is, where prices have gone. And it'll be amazing. So, again, thank you so much. And until next one.
Well, thank you, Hans. I really appreciate the time, man. Take care.
All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.